Greetings and good day, and welcome to another exciting episode of One Path to Wealth. I am your host, Jeremy Dicker, the Hebrew Hammer. Really excited to be with you again today. Someone had asked me the other day, what's the topic or the purpose of your show? And the purpose initially always was to make something that people wanted to tune into because it would be different. It'd be something that we would talk about different topics, not just about the economy or the market or politics, but life in general, because as perfect as people sometimes try to purport that their lives are, we all know that they're not. And we all know that people have challenges and there's different things that are on everybody's minds, whether they're willing to talk about it or not. And so the whole idea behind One Path to Wealth is that there is one path, but there's a lot of different paths that you can take. But whatever that path is, that is your one path. And we all get to choose those depending upon our upbringing, where we are in business or in life or with our personal lives. And I think it's important to talk about those things, reconcile some of those things. So recently, I thought I'd share a bit of a story. So recently, my son and I have had a really challenging time. He's pushing really hard against me, and he's an incredible athlete, but like most kids that are 10 years of age, he enjoys his video game time. And I just never grew up playing video games. I was always outside. And for me, that was what it was all about. It was being outside as much as possible. And certainly while he is outside a lot, a really active kid, as a lot of 10-year-old boys are, there's just things that I just don't understand. And so, growing up, I didn't have a strong male role model of any kind really until I was 18 years of age. So being a father, for me, has been very unnatural. I see lots of friends of mine and clients of mine that very naturally parent their kids, parent their boys. Their sons are their best friends, or their son view their father as the best friend. And for me, my son doesn't feel that way. I think he knows I love him because I tell him that all the time. I think he knows that I'll always support him and be there for him no matter what happens, because I tell him that all the time, and I do share that with him and talk to him about it. But we butt heads, and we don't get along all the time, and we struggle with that. So it got me thinking a little bit about meeting in the middle. And I think about many, many years ago, my grandfather, who was an attorney, said, the best negotiations are the ones that both parties come away feeling like they didn't win. It's about meeting in the middle. And I started thinking about that a little bit and came back from a trip and said to my son, why don't you show me how to play Fortnite? Because I don't know how to play that. So as much as I did not want to do it, had no interest in it, cannot stand video games in any fashion or form, he and I sat down and we started playing, Fortnite together on the 30 or 45 minutes of time that he gets to play his video games. And we sat and we played that game, and he kicked my ass upside down and inside out all over the video game terminal, or whatever you call it, the video game itself. And I did not enjoy it at all. In fact, it was mostly torture. But what I did enjoy is sitting there with him and seeing how he interacts and some of the things that are important to him. Because at the end of the day, I'm the 48-year-old, he's the 10-year-old. And it's my job to help him be the man that he needs to be and be the best version of himself that he can be. But most importantly, I need to be able to have a relationship with him where he and I can communicate and meet in the middle. So it got me really thinking a lot about other things that I could do or have not done that could be improved upon as it relates to meeting in the middle. Thinking about things in business with my support team and things that are important to them that they need, whether it be an ear, some time to really chat, some things that they see in the business that I might not see on a day-to-day basis, and how that applies to my personal life and how that applies to my kids and how that applies to just other things that I do. They say the sign of a good leader is one that clearly communicates the things that are important, the vision of the future, and the direction that people are expected to go, and the direction that your business is expected to go. Well, I think that's also pretty true in your personal life. I think what I've not done a good job of with my son is clearly communicated to him my expectations without getting angry. because oftentimes when they push back or they butt heads with you or whatever, they're not clear as to what your expectations are. So we tried recently to really clarify some of those communications and just the direction that I expect. So some more backstory. My son is a phenomenal baseball player. On his travel team, on his little league team, he's always consistently the best or the top 3 best players on his team. And interestingly, whenever I comment on that, I tell him how good he is or that he is the best. He'll say, "Oh, no, I'm not. So-and-so is better." Or, "No, I'm not," with a twinkle in his eye and a smile on his face. "So-and-so is better," knowing full well the degree of the quality that he is and the player that he is. But what's interesting about him is he doesn't see, because he doesn't know the things that I know. When I look at him swing the bat or throw the ball, the natural instincts that a 10-year-old has are not what my son has. He is far more advanced. So unfortunately, we had some experiences with some teams that were just less than ideal. And my son, as a young boy, as a really little child, since he was 1 or 2 or 3 years old, since he had a glove on his hand and a ball in his hand, a glove on one hand and a ball in the other, would throw the ball against the couch or the wall in our living room and field those ground balls all the time. There is no point at which that he did not want to play baseball, have a ball in that hand or a stick or something, and play that game. And over the last 6 months, he soured from it, even though he individually had a tremendous amount of success on the field. The team did not. And I would also say that some of the things that I witnessed within that team environment were less than what I would say would be ideal, for a whole host of reasons, most of which are not important today. But there was just a lot of things that as I witnessed that, I could understand why he was soured from it. So as we started looking at this upcoming fall season and the things that are happening and, his desire to play baseball again, he wasn't super into it, which really, really bummed me out, because baseball, for anybody that knows me, is the end all be all. I don't watch other sports. That's all I ever played. And I just love the game, all games, diehard Dodger fan, but love that game more than any other sport. So as a father who's really passionate about the sport and who have a son that was really passionate about the sport, what a win. And now to watch him suffer through those feelings and not have the same engagement, interest, desire is something that's very, very hard, very, very difficult for me. So we had looked at several teams for him to start in the fall and identified 2 that we really thought would be most appropriate for him. And he was scared. "Dad, I'm not going to know anybody there. There's all these new kids and I don't know any of them. And, I don't know if I want to play on that team. I'd just rather go back to my other team," even though he had a negative experience there. It was comfortable for him because it was something that he knew. And someone told me many, many years ago, and it's something that I believe, I am who I am because I was pushed. And I do believe it's really important to push our kids. They don't always know, in fact, seldom do they know, because of lack of experience, what's best for them. Now, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't listen to what's going on with them, listen to their feelings, address their feelings, but we do have to push them. It's not okay just to let them decide that they don't want to do something because of lack of comfort. My son is very shy. My daughter, quite the opposite. She can walk in any room, shakes everybody's hand, looks them in the eye, and is just very, very comfortable. My son, not so much. And there's a whole host of reasons perhaps why that happened or why he is that. I mean, the 2020 COVID year where he was locked up and not a lot of human interaction and engagement probably impacted some of that. Where my daughter, who was 18 months older, didn't have that same experience. She had it, but she's a bit older, a little more developed. And so we decided that we're going to push our son, to be on this team, one of the 2. He can play other sports, but we felt that it's important that he continues what he started. Well, recently, another father reached out and said, we've got this other option, which is more laid back, a bit more fun. It's not going to be quite as serious, led by some pretty serious people in baseball, but not quite as serious in terms of the other traditional travel or club ball teams. And in my gut, I feel he should be playing on this club team that's advanced, that's really good, that he'll be one of the better players, perhaps not the best, but one of the better ones. And the team would be really competitive. But as I talk about meeting in the middle, I started thinking about what would be best for him. What would help him have the most amount of fun, to really engage in a way that perhaps he hasn't for the last couple of years? And the answer that I came to after a lot of thought was being around a bunch of kids that are from the neighborhood that can play baseball together and have a good time. They'll be competitive in some instances, but maybe not all the time. But most importantly, he's going to know most, if not all, of the kids he's going to be playing with. And he's going to get to have that really great time. And I think as I started thinking about growing up, sports, school, things were very different when I was younger. I'm only 48 years of age, not young, but not old. As I think about how things were, there was mandatory PE. Kids played baseball without any expectation, or basketball, or name the sport, football. They did it. And then when they finally got onto that mid-season team, or that team that was designed for the 10 to 13 or 14-year-olds just before high school, it was really about having fun. And all of a sudden, these things, that fun has been taken away from a lot of these young people because it's become so competitive. It's become a bit of a money grab too, but it's become so competitive. And while I want nothing more than my son to play high school and college baseball, and hopefully pro if he's good enough and has the desire, I don't think I'm willing to sacrifice how he feels about playing sports and just in general because of the way that I feel. And I think it's very important, and this is new ground for me, because as I said, I had no adult role model, male role model growing up. I had none really until I was age 18, and didn't have that support ever, where I really felt like whatever I decided to do was going to be okay. And I tried hard in a lot of things. I oftentimes say I was the worst player on the best team when I played baseball, but I did play on the best team. I did get to play. I did perform well, but I was never as talented as my son is today. And so as I think about that as it applies to business, and I want to somewhat draw a weave of business and personal into this show today, it's okay to not be born or be given all the greatest talents in the world. It's okay. It's also okay to have all of the most talents in the world, the best talents in the world, the ability to articulate sentences and think about things differently. That's okay too. What's not okay is extending your best effort in every aspect of the things that are important to you. And even the things that aren't necessarily important. Maybe you don't enjoy school, or you don't enjoy certain aspects of your business or your work. You still need to extend and perform at the highest level at all times, without exception. And as these are kids, these are young people, part of that performance is enjoyment. Going to school and sitting through classes that they may not necessarily enjoy, part of that is a requirement, because they need to learn that not everything all the time is perfect. It certainly isn't in business. And so as I reflect on this a bit more, and as I wrote a blog about meeting in the middle a few weeks ago on this very specific and similar topic, it's the same thing. It's about negotiating with your skill set. It's about negotiating with the people that are around you. It's about thinking about not just yourself, but the impact that your decision has on other people, both personally, professionally, financially, all of those things. Decisions that we each choose to make today have a broader impact, ones that we may not see for many years to come. And ultimately, A, how do you want to be remembered? B, as we're growing young people, or in business, as we're growing our teams, our staff, our support teams, our leadership teams, how do we want them to remember us? And most importantly, what's more important, that you got your point across, that you were right, or that everybody left the meeting or the experience feeling that they were heard and have the ability to operate, make decisions, and come to the middle? And I think the takeaway that I had from my conversations with my little son, my 10-year-old boy, is that it's equally as important for him to feel like he was heard and had some seat at the table than for us just to mandate that he has to go do something which may take away the passion and the love of the sport that I truly do believe he loves more than any other sport. And it's not just about the sport. It's also about so many other things. Like I was also talking to my daughter, who's chosen to play volleyball this year. Really excited about that. And she swam on the swim team for one season. And we would enjoy so much going out, and the camaraderie of all the other parents, and the hanging out and having cocktails and all those great things. But at the end of the day, my daughter didn't enjoy the swim team. So while we thoroughly enjoyed the experience of being part of the team, the child, who's really what matters here, didn't. And again, to draw a parallel in business, if you're getting across a point, but all the people that you surround yourself with aren't getting it or aren't enjoying it or aren't having the same kind of feelings that you are, you didn't win. In fact, I would submit that that you didn't win, you actually lost. Because are they really hearing you? Are your clients really hearing you? Are your friends really hearing you? Are you extending that effort and really trying to meet them in the middle? And if you aren't, or if you're trying to, what's been the experience? Are they hearing you? Are they getting it? Are they understanding what's important to you and why? And then at the same time, are you taking the same position for them and listening and hearing what they have to say, their feelings, and then absorbing those things in and really internalizing them? Are you? So it has me really thinking about a lot of different things. And I think it's amazing how our kids teach us so much. They're so little, but they teach us so much about so many different things. I continually think about that. And it's something that's been a big aha, particularly someone that didn't have that significant male role model or a lot of role models in general that I looked up to until I was much, much older. So it's a new development thing. It's also interesting because as I think about being a parent and a father, I don't really know what to do. Like in business, I always knew what to do. I had people that I could call on and share an experience and ask them for advice. And some of those people were less successful than I have been. But they had an opinion, they had a perspective. It's like what they say, and again, using baseball as the adage, but some of the best hitting instructors were people that were guys that couldn't do it in the big leagues, but they have a natural skill and a talent to help other players perform better, become better hitters, even though they weren't a great hitter on their own. They had an ability to see that others did not. So as a parent, it's the same thing. I don't know really what to do. I don't know how to experience a 10-year-old and what they're thinking about and why and the arguments and all of those other things. Or my daughter, who I'm not a girl. I don't intend to be one. Never been a 12-year-old girl. I don't remember what it's like with my sister and her feelings at 12 years old. But what that's like and all of the challenges that she's got to be feeling emotionally and mentally and all of those things. So the takeaway I've had over the last several weeks has been to sit down and have a conversation, be open, be willing to listen and hear. It doesn't always have to be my way. Stop yelling so much because I do have a tendency to get frustrated and yell, and take a step back, think about what it is that we're really trying to have happen. And as it relates to my kids, ultimately, I just want them to be happy. I want them to be well-balanced, good members of society, and to be happy. And in business, very similarly, it's very important to have our clients happy. Our support teams need to be happy. They need to feel heard. We need to develop a business model that allows for open communication and sharing and not feel like you're getting shut down. And that's true with our kids. It's interesting that my wife has a better conversation, better relationship largely with the kids than I do, but she's more open and willing to listen. And I've been more shut down over the past decade around thoughts and things because my view has always been, well, I'm the parent, do as I say, not as I do. And most importantly, do as I say. And perhaps that wasn't the best approach. And it certainly wasn't an approach that was winning with my son. So the change in approach hopefully will work. And tried a few things this weekend that hopefully are going to be successful. And most importantly, we'll let him know that he's been heard. I understand where he's coming from. It's important that he shares his opinion. It's important that he also listens to what we have to say and why. And then hopefully that'll improve our relationship. So just a few things that are on my mind today. I'm your host, Jeremy Dicker, the Hebrew Hammer. If you like this episode and more, please click like on the box. And remember to subscribe to the One Path to Wealth. Keep an eye out for our blogs. They're out every Friday. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to One Path to Wealth podcast. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at www.onewealthmgmt.com or give us a call at 855-663-9584. And don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of One Wealth Management. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Investment advisory services offered through One Wealth Capital Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance solutions offered through One Wealth Management, Financial and Insurance Services, Inc.